Dr. Shane Reedy.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure to take the final call on this bill, the TPP Agreement Amendment Bill, and I want to weave in some of the themes that some of the colleagues before me have spoken about. I want to talk about three things. I want to talk around a general theme of protections. I want to talk about Māori engagement and protections, general protections and pharmaceutical protections. You heard our colleague Nuk Karako speak about the benefits of the TPP to the Māori economy, and I want to talk to some of the protections that are there for Māori. First of all, Māori had multiple opportunities to engage in this process going all the way back to 2008. If we look at some of those contributors, they're significant players in the Māori economy. Sealord, Aotearoa Fisheries, Te Ohu Kaimoana, Tainui and Ngāi Tahu have all been engaged for many years over this process. I think protections for Māori are also very clear under the Treaty of Waitangi carve-out, which I believe does provide protections, and I support what Nuk Karako was saying in this area as well. I want to then talk to general domestic protections. What is the effect of this on the general New Zealand domestic market? Well, we know there's particular protections for them as well. They're protected by amendments we're making to the Tariffs Act through two prime mechanisms. First of all, there's transitional safeguard measures. Now, these are measures for domestic industries that might feel that they're harmed by aspects of the TPP, and their remedy in response to that, following appropriate process and discussion, is that any further relief or reduction in tariffs can be halted immediately, and customs duty can be imposed on those imports that are thought to be harming our domestic market. Now, textiles and clothing have something extra. They can use emergency measures, which effectively do the same. It puts a halt to any further tariff reductions, but also they can raise tariff duties on the offending product. And that can last for many years. These transition measures, these protection measures can last for several years. Finally, I want to talk about pharmaceutical protections. And I want to talk first of all about the patent term extension. Now, this is the period from application to marketing approval, and it covers delayed marketing approval. And I want to talk to several points. First of all, New Zealand does not have a patent term extension beyond the general patent term of 20 years. Most OECD countries do. Now, up until 1994, we actually did have patent term extensions. You could extend up to 10 years, and on average, the extension was about 7.5. This was revoked in 1994, and instead what we did was increase the general patent protection from 16 to 20 years. We've heard about the impact for New Zealand of this patent term extension, which is proposed as 5 years, to be small. And it's likely to be small because if we imagine again, the purpose for this is delays in marketing approval. We're very efficient at that. MedSafe, IPONs, they're very efficient in getting market approval, and so the advice to us is that the impact of this aspect of pharmaceutical protections will be small. The final protection I want to talk about then is the Biologic Protection, which goes on from the marketing approval period onward, also known as data protection or data exclusivity. The principle here is that innovation of very expensive medicines, especially biologics, need to be encouraged, and they need some protection from generics. And we need to imagine that 40% of new pharmaceuticals are in fact biologics. Many are especially used for inflammatory conditions such as psoriasis, inflammatory bowel disease and rheumatoid arthritis. Now, New Zealand already has a 5-year biologic exclusivity. And we join Australia in that sort of time frame, Chile, Malaysia, Peru, Singapore and Vietnam. Canada and Japan have 8 years, and of course the US has 12. And there was clearly a desire and attention to try and drag our 5 years more towards the 12. And where we settled with was mostly still around the 5 as a 5 plus other framework. So 3 sets of protections that I think provide a lot of assurity to our domestic market and to the whole trade environment here. Definitely benefits and protections for Māori, general domestic protections and pharmaceutical protections as well. And so with that, Mr Speaker, it's my absolute pleasure to commend this bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. No. The ayes have it. A party vote has been called for. I ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
81 votes against.
Green Party.
12 votes against.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Ag New Zealand,
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 61, the noes are 57. The motion is agreed to.
Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement Amendment Bill, third reading.